Hello everyone, this is Queer Dreads. I am actually going to try and do a quick, alright, let's forget I even said the word. Um, just a little update on my wife is not here at the moment, on our journey to conceiving. So I'll upload a different video with some background info on sort of what we decided to do. But right now I'm just going to show you my ovulation test strips and the pregnancy test strips that we've done since, excuse me, since cycle day. Actually started on cycle day 5, but I kind of use that as my my control really, because I have those little like internet strips, and I have some of the other types. So first I'm just going to show you my ovulation test. So I have it in this lovely book here, and originally I was just going to do that. It was just going to be ovulation strips, and then I would put pregnancy test somewhere else, but then I decided to put the pregnancy test in here as well. So I started tracking, I don't know what, I think this is cycle day 10. It's either cycle day 10 or cycle day 8 is when I started. And so I just was taping them in here. I made sure to put the date, the time. Yeah, so it's very clearly like with an OPK, especially these, the test line, which is this line, needs to be as dark or darker than the control line. So it's very clear that I was not due to ovulate anytime soon based on these. Yep, and then we just sort of keep going into May 2nd. I'm getting closer and closer to me. They seem to be getting darker. Here we are at May 2nd, May 3rd. And I guess you could say that that was pretty damn dark. But then, so that was the first, that was May 3rd at 8:55. That was my first pee. Oh, why the hell I peed so late in the day? And then May 3rd, by the way, was the day that I had a final that day. It was my first final of the semester, and I was supposed to be studying. And I had to pee, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to do the test while we, I'm just going to do the test while we wait. Or while I'm studying, because I have to pee, why not? So I go in the bathroom, I'm like on campus, I bring my, I have this little pouch here, that I would carry everywhere, and it had like my test strips, it had my book, so I carried that everywhere, and I was like, well, I should probably test, because this morning looked like, the day before, May 2nd, and, first P of May 12th, 3rd looked like really, like, much darker than the other day, so I was like, I'm going to test, and then so, for May 3rd, at 12:40, that was what I got. Like spot, like you can see, the one above was not as dark as these two that you see here. These two up there, above where my thumb is right now. So then I did it again later in the day at about 6 o'clock, and it was still dark, but it was clearly getting lighter. And then this was May 5th, so I didn't test on the day that I actually inseminated and ovulated, but I tested the next morning, first day post insemination, and it was lighter than it was at noon-ish on the 3rd. And then I kept doing them. I did one for 3 DPO, and then I did another one for 4 DPO, and it was getting lighter. And I'm not using OPKs as a pregnancy test. So I'll show you 5 DPO first morning P. I did an ovulation test, and then I did must be the evening, and then I guess I did it is the evening. Sorry, I'm looking at the actual test to make sure I know what I'm saying, and that's just horrible. Anyway, so up here, I'm gonna try and, so this was May 9th, it was 5 DPO, first morning P. The test was actually darker than it was a few days ago, like the days before this. So that was a little weird to me. And then on that evening, I did my first ovulation, not ovulation, I did my first pregnancy test. As you can see, the difference is one test LH and one test HCG. So the blue was my ovulation, the pinks are my pregnancy. So here we are. There's no line at all. And that was 5 DPO, and I did that intentionally because I wanted to see what, I'm going to try to put this down. I wanted to see what it would look like at F5 DPO, just to have a sort of comparison. Sorry for the shakiness. I'm using my phone. And then I did, so 10 DPO was not a first morning P, it was about 1 o'clock. And I don't know if you can see that. Let me just try and shift myself a little bit. So that was 10, and where you see the arrow and the red spot, this is the second test down. For May 14th. There's the faintest line. It is so faint, like, at first I was like, it's not even there. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, fuck, am I pregnant? And then I did one on the 11th, but it was also kind of faint, and it wasn't a first morning P. And I think, so I did another one on the 16th, which was 12 DPO, and my wife was there, and she really wanted me to test, so I did, and it was like, oh, that's darker than the next one. And then we did another one on 12 DPO later in the day. It's still dark, faint, but not like so faint that I can't tell it's there. Then I did first morning P on 13 DPO, and it's still about the same as 12 DPO, and then 14 DPO, still about the same. And so we went camping this weekend, which was 14 and 15 DPO, so I didn't test on 15 DPO, and then today is 16 DPO, and I tested today, first morning P, and that's what I got. It is significantly darker than it was 2 days ago, and we're both very happy about that. But this is also not only was it our first cycle, TTC was our first one. This is also my first pregnancy ever. I've never been pregnant before. So we're kind of fearful that, you know, there's still a chance of miscarriage because I'm only at 4 weeks, 2 days, and I haven't had it confirmed by a doctor yet because I'm not on my wife's insurance just yet. The moment that I am, we will go to a doctor and I'll have it confirmed. Hopefully it's still sticking. But that was just sort of, those were the test strips. I also have non-test strips. I also have the kind you get at the store. The ones that I just showed you were from the internet. So I have I think this very first one, this very first one is, I think I got this one from Rite Aid. It might be the Rite Aid brand. So this was 10 DPO at 1 o'clock. Same as the other one. Let me just try and focus this. Struggle. So the line is faint. When I say it's faint, it's like I could barely see that. And I had one for 11, and then I got rid of it because I hadn't tested with my wife and I didn't want her to be upset about that. But I kept the 10 because that was the very first time I'd seen a positive. So this is 12 DPO. It's been obviously a few days, so it's a little bit dry, but you can still see that like very, very faint line there. Those are the first morning pee. This was also a first morning pee on 13. These two are the Answer brand, as you can see there. And then this one was also a 13, and I tried this one on 11 and it didn't show me anything, which is why I was so skeptical about trying this again, but I did, and it did show a faint positive. I have an EPT, the blue dye EPT, very similar to the Rite Aid brand. I guess the Rite Aid brand is similar to the EPT because the EPT is more expensive. And we tried that on cycle day 12, and the line was like, it sort of came up at first and then it dried up really quickly. It was very discouraging. But that's a blue dye, and I wasn't sure if the blue dye was better or worse than the pink dye. So we're waiting to use the last EPT that we have until it's been days after my missed period. And right now I'm at about either 1 or 2 days past my period right now, because one app told me it was the 18th, one told me the 19th. So I'm either 1 or 2 days past at this point, which is great. Yay, 1 or 2 days past. I don't know if I'm actually like, if it's gonna stick. I'm trying not to be terribly excited about it. But those are just my tests. I'm hoping to maybe do, I wrote down from cycle day, from the day before, I think, or the day of insemination / ovulation to about day 12, symptoms that my wife thought were psychosomatic. They were not. I was right. So I'll probably do one video just sort of giving a general overview of all of those, and then just sort of keep doing, days past ovulation until it's officially confirmed with the blood workup. Until then, I'll talk to you later.